Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to an SP Reviews where today we have ourselves a track from an act named BaFoL OnE titled My Compliments. And if we switch over to here, we have ourselves a track on the screen on YouTube. I've listened to BaFoL OnE stuff before, that I've enjoyed it, and we're going to be listening through this track from start to finish, and we're going to hear what we think. Without further ado, let's go.
Man, if you ever feel like an outcast sometimes, then this one's for you. Let's go.
It's just it just cuts immediately to the point. You've got the keys and the guitar with their modulation, that sort of lo-fi aesthetic on it. And then he's talking about these outcasts and trying to get a sense of like, hey, I understand your position. It's awesome how quick that is.
Another tale to tell the truth all ain't well. Another timeless tale will tell the tales of the well. I used to set sail on the visions of the swells. Now I fail to see where the weak can prevail. Take the veil off, vision clear what they tell. What they tell sometimes by the wayside it fell. Lost in the cracks of the rhymes it will kill. Skills fill the void of the priceless with sales.
Price with Sales is an interesting flow. I enjoy the bass and drums as well. I think things are insecting quite nicely within this arrangement.
I build a field of dreams. I dream enough to bring your third eye to extremes. Eyes be the beats
nice pause.
Of the soul when it shakes. Echoes off the wall just to shake off the shakes. Sort through the fake nightmares and dreamscapes. Nocturnal animals that might stay awake. Quick to find a zone. The pulse beat the tone. A stethoscope with the microphone. Hold your own. They go through the...
I like the line with the stethoscope. I always struggle with stethoscope. With the heart to the microphone as if you're speaking your truth internally. The vocal chops here are dope as well in the chorus. On the sides.
They go through the motions, they swallow their pride. They go through the motions, they juggle their stride. Go find a gem, compliments of the sky. They go through the motions, they run and they hide. They go through the motions, they swallow their pride. They go through the motions, they juggle their stride. Go find a gem, compliments of the sky.
Great repetition of the phrasing vocally within that chorus section to get it stuck in your head. I like the imagery evoked by the looking for the gem in the sky stuff as well.
Time to write a script, to find a crypt. The actors die aware and tell the story of a flick of the flash. Smile when you pass, capture a moment that's riddled with the past. Bypass the past with a passive-aggressive flow. I might fly past, let past aggressions go. The shame and the doubt, puddle up the drought. Saturate the shame as they lay the carpet out. Now they feel the fright, these ghosts in the night. What I seen with the scene, man, it seems it isn't right.
So when we talk about the ghosts and the scene in the scene, it isn't right. Nice wordplay, by the way. Are we inferring that as we go into a higher place or become more successful, we're finding things we didn't think were there and that we're not okay with that?
I go towards the light, it seems to be so bright. Director yell cut as I exit stage right. The cast feel the hype. I'm quick to grab the mic. On screen 16, screenplay of your life. The camera pull back, it's back to the track. The boom in the back, BaFoL OnE, that's a wrap. They
Again, great wordplay.
Motions, they run and they hide. They go through the motions, they swallow their pride. They go through the motions, they juggle their stride. Go find a gem, compliments of the sky. They go through the motions, they run and they hide. They go through the motions, they swallow their pride. They go through the motions, they juggle their stride. Go find a gem, compliments of the sky.
Nothing else production.
And we've got the man here looking at the lyrics on the floor, kind of sifting through them. It's dope. I enjoy it. No, it's a really solid effort. I've got a lot of really positive things to talk about, so let's discuss that more in the conclusion. And welcome to the conclusion of my review of this track from an act named BaFoL OnE titled My Compliments. Now, I think that this track, if I understand correctly, is talking about people who they've been blinded to the possibilities. They're going through the motions. They're struggling to kind of keep step and be sort of like, I suppose, maybe normal or do what's expected of them. And I think it kind of merges into what BaFoL OnE is discussing later on, where as they grow as a musician, they're finding things aren't what they seem, and they're sort of, even though people are trying to find their voice with BaFoL OnE, there's a little bit kind of weirdness going on. Think that the golden lights, the bright shiny things aren't as clear as they see, but it's still worth walking towards it to understand it better and to, I suppose, to know if you really want it. I do like the wordplay that was included, like the booming it back with BaFoL. Like there's stuff in there we repeat words with familiar, like similar sounds that mean different things and create interesting sentences that sort of flow neatly between each other. And that flow is smooth and it's articulate and intelligent and creative. I'm thankful for the way the story was told there. There's more nuance to it than I've probably mentioned there. But if I was to go off of what I've discussed, I think that the rapping within this track is stellar. BaFoL OnE is very confident on the mic. They're they're reasonably explorative with the way that they phrase their verse and sort of chorus stanzas. There's a repetition of the groove that we have within the lines of the hook, which makes it more catchy and more memorable, and it's satisfying how it loops and goes between. And because of the shortness of the track, it never becomes old. We don't do double choruses or anything like that. We're kind of in and out, and I appreciate that. There's a nice sort of segmentation between verse 1 and verse 2, two different things discussed there, but we have a similarity in the way that we express ourselves that makes it all sort of stylistically cohesive, and also makes it sound like we're aware of what's going on when we have the veil over our eyes, but we're also aware of our own sort of position and the growth we've made. It's a nice sort of equilibrium there that I think we've managed to reach there, and with the competence and clarity of the words and the notes that come through there, the variation with the slight variation with the rhymes in order to kind of keep things sounding fresh, the occasional pauses and emphasis on some of the words for accents, it's just very interesting to listen to. So I'm really thankful that BaFoL OnE is a great rapper and that they know how to tell a story. The track itself at 2 minutes 44 is nice and short. You know, it's right within that 2 to 4 minute sweet spot. It's not too short that it lacks the context of the two verses. It's not too long that the main theme overstays its welcome. The main theme consisting of guitars, bass, keys, and drums. I think that we had the guitar and the keys at the start. The guitar with kind of like a lo-fi kind of gritty tone to it, kind of modulated almost. I'm not quite sure what effect Shane they've got in there completely, but there's some interesting stuff going on. And the keys are nice and fresh sounding. They have a pristine sort of beautiful nature to them. They're kind of exquisite in that upper range. They're contrasting nicely with the mid-range of the fluffy kind of like I don't know how to describe it, strained guitar bits there with those arpeggiated layers. We're playing some arpeggiated chords on the guitars that sound kind of sinister and minor with their sort of formations. The keys occasionally highlighting notes in the upper register to sort of sag on top of that. The bass line at the bottom when it's introduced in the verse section after the intro with the vocals about the outcasts and everything like that is nice, and it's gritty and intense. It's not too overwhelming. It niches nicely both from a production perspective as well as an arrangement and compositional perspective. The drums, the bass follows the root notes of the chord progressions though, and the arpeggios that are played there, and it's very sort of satisfying to listen to. And the drums are nicely sort of like elaborated upon. We've got an interesting sort of like movement of like kicks, sort of snares and hi-hats and sort of cymbal beats with like sort of an early kind of 2000s hip-hop-ish kind of focus, 90s 2000s kind of aesthetic there. We're not going for like any of the sort of newer stuff like the newer age kind of more modern sort of hip-hop with a lot of sort of like cicada traps or anything like that, but that's totally fine. I like the kind of old school stuff. I think there's also a little bit of turntablism in there occasionally, but just that kind of low down, kind of ominous kind of tone to the drums working with what I've discussed with the bass, the guitar, and the keys, as well as the vocal chops we had in the chorus from the lady singer, like on either side of the stereo field, which helped to flesh out the side of the track, and the double tracking of the vocals occasionally for certain emphasis on certain words within the hook. It's just the theme overall when you put those together, and with the seamless, I've said seamless a lot, the smoothness of the track overall, even with a bit of kind of punch to it from the low end, is something that sounds kind of gritty and dire. I think even with the second verse, we were discussing that things were as they seemed in the scene and stuff. We didn't sound totally satisfied despite the fact that we were moving towards the light, almost like we were a moth to a flame potentially. And I like that the theme doesn't try to sort of like trivialize the pursuit of the gems in the sky there. There were lyrics in this word like lines I really appreciated and I thought were really clever. It's a really interesting story, and the theme, I think, manages to communicate and sort of convince the listener that they should still continue to move forward and try and do the best they can to sort of understand the world around them, but that they can't just be assuming that things will instantly improve when they get there. The studio recording, mixing and mastering, the production in general is it's fantastic. I'm really happy overall with what was provided to us today. I think that the vocals were nice and clear in the mix, as well as the guitar, bass, drums, and keys. They each had different sounds and were produced and sort of showing in different ways that highlighted and niche nicely within the frequency spectrum, with things nice and wide in the stereo field, such as the drums and like also the vocal chops going from left to right with a bit of automation potentially there, as well as just placements in different tracks, you know, hard panned. There was dynamic range to this track. There were parts where it stopped completely. There was like a change in the intensity in that intro versus the middle section of the track, and it was just really satisfying. You know, I've said satisfying a lot. I suppose that'd be it. Even though I know the story isn't super happy or anything like that, it was really good to listen to. I felt like I was being taken care of, I suppose, in a weird way. Like I didn't have to sort of like nitpick or anything like that as a reviewer. It was nicely leveled, and the vocals weren't overproduced, and it was nice and loud without pumping, so the bus compression and limiting were handled. I mean, effectively, this is my quite positive review of this track from BaFoL OnE, titled My Compliments, and my compliments to BaFoL OnE, and hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go show them some love via their various social medias and YouTube page. Stay cool and stay safe, as well as their other social medias, and stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as need the help more than ever thought of crazy stuff going on in the world, and I'll catch you in the next review. Spiderhands out.